How many of you here have been on an interview before? Okay. Well, fun fact about me, I'm not the best at interviews. Actually, I'm not good at interviews at all. I remember back in the 8th grade when I had gone for the interview for the house captain position. Yeah, the final round. And I remember being so amazed and amazed that I made it so far, especially because I was the youngest applicant in that round. And I remember not knowing about the meeting until half an hour before. Yeah. So going in, I had no idea what I was going to talk about. And I go in, and the first thing I see is my subject teacher. And I had no idea how to deal with my nerves at all. So the first thing I do, I just burst out laughing. I had no idea what to say. So for 3 minutes, we just sat there laughing. Yeah, real Lamine Yamal kind of performance there. Youngest applicant in the final round and zero composure. Anyways, basically, what I took away from that meeting was that I needed to build some essential skills. And I did learn a lot from that meeting, such as I learned to build on my speaking skills, how to be ready at the last moment, and most importantly, my confidence. And honestly, if you'd asked me 24 hours ago if I had a speech ready for today, I'd have nothing. Because that's the skill which helped me today to stand in front of you guys today. So I still experience this kind of feeling on a day-to-day basis. For example, I'd be walking down the street and I'd see people look at me. That's when my amazing overthinking mind would come into action. And I'd be like, is my fit okay? Is my hair looking okay? You know? And that's when I realized that I'm starting to think about all my smaller insecurities. And that's when I realized that I don't look at myself the same how I did when I left the house. So it's really an interesting question. How do others think of you? Let's go back to the interviews. For example, in an interview, you realize that one of the most important and common questions they ask you is, what are your weaknesses and what are your strengths? Say you answer about that your weaknesses are maybe communicating and articulating your thoughts clearly. First, they're not looking at what you answer, but rather how you answer. They're not looking at if you're just answering for the sake of it, because they can read easily off the application. Say the fact that you're answering the weakness question itself is good enough because it shows that you're willing to work on that weakness. Answering it with clarity shows that you're progressing on that weakness with a particular effect and heart to it. So, yeah, that's pretty much it. Oh, why is there an image of Cristiano Ronaldo? I guess that's just how I see myself. Or maybe, Chadwick Boseman. Yeah, I guess that's just how I see myself. But that's what the study of imago is. Imago means image. It talks about the self-image and the image you create of yourself. But it's not just about you yourself and how you think. It's about your experiences, your fears, and what you see in your life that creates this image of yourself. How confident you are, what questions you ask, and how you speak in front of people. How you are yourself and what persona you put out there. But what's fascinating about imago is that it talks about these small insecurities and weaknesses as your hidden strengths. You can take these weaknesses and insecurities and make them into your bigger strengths. Say for example, there's someone who's not the best at public speaking. They may actually be really great listeners and they may be deep thinkers. Just like how you turn all maybe some of your insecurities and weaknesses. I see it in two ways. First, you can either live with these insecurities, wallow about it, cry about it until you're cried out, or just be in denial of having any insecurities at all. Or you could maybe go ahead and make that decision of turning that insecurity into a strength of yours. That itself is like making a decision for growth. Accepting that you have an insecurity is almost like a turning point in your life. And finally, overcoming it and making that insecurity into one of your biggest strengths is like climbing a personal mountain. So maybe you don't have to let the insecurity define you. It's what makes us human. And these weaknesses and strengths can all just be a factor of what makes us us, which is never a bad thing. And at the end of it, we're all just good guys. So let me tell you very honestly. Yeah. accepting our imperfection and learning how to grow from it is the main factor in growing as a person and having personal development.